What's going on, guys? Welcome to another live stream session with your boy Phrankleen. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time stopping on the channel, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to look through my playlist for several interesting content. It's been a minute. For those that have been watching us for a minute, it's been a while. Thank you for stopping by. What's going on? What's going on? So we're just getting started. It's been a while since I've been on had a bit of time off. Yeah, good evening. Good evening. I can see your comments. So if you're watching this for the first time, this is story time. Story time is basically a segment where people send me their stories to footchannel1960@gmail.com. You can look in the description below. They are pretty much, we deal with eclectic topics in here that we can hopefully learn from. You dig? So people share their stories with me. And of course, I make you anonymous. So if you have a story, it may not be you directly, for something that we can hopefully learn one or two things from, feel free to email me. And if it's a trending topic that we can benefit from as melanated people, of course, by all means, kindly send me the links, the information. Whilst you are at it, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Phrankleen. All right. What's going on, you Andy? What's going on, everybody? What's up, people? It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. So we're gonna have to build back up on the traffic and on the content. It's welcome to the YouTube game, man. So people have been emailing me. What's up, Phrankleen? What's going on with you, brother? You gone off the radar? Coffee. What's up, Gail? Thank you for being a fantastic moderator. Right. So let's crack on with it. Welcome to story time. Where have you been? Says Yoande. Been on the planet. Been somewhere on the planet. All right. I wanted to queue up some interesting content. But I just couldn't. The situation and stuff. But it's great. It's great to be back doing what I enjoy doing with fantastic people to support me. Now, these brother's story. So he emailed me and said, frankly, I'd like you to not just share, this story with people, make me anonymous as I normally do, but basically saying he would like to hear what I think about his ongoing situation and stuff like that. What's up, T. Kelly? I see you. Smash that like button, all right? So anyways, the story goes like this. So brother met his wife. They met from back home. Akin, what's up, brother? They met from back home in the motherland, proclaimed or professed, or whatever you want to say, their love for each other and stuff. And they got married and had the first child before coming to the West. So anyways, got to the West, settled in, and then have a couple of more children. They're living in the West and stuff. So anyways, at some point, the dude's parents, got their visas, and then they came to the UK to, spend time with him and the family. So of course, these led to a period of observation for the parents, his parents, right? Mom and dad. So whilst they were there, they realized that there was sweetheart said, "We miss you, Phrankleen." Sorry for digressing, because it's been a minute. People are going to say that. Um, Hi, yeah, I miss you guys too. Okay, thank you for the love and support. So let's crack on now. Whilst the parents were present, so of course they were observing, looking at how their son, was interacting with his wife and around the house and all that. So to cut the chase, um, the mom and dad, particularly the mom, they soon realized that the brother was, basically they had a little. I think the third born was the latest baby they had. And was given his baby bath early in the morning, basically helping his wife around the house. So dealing with what might be regarded, unfortunately, when we refer to what do you call it, man? Toxic, some of our toxic culture. What's regarded as a woman's, set of duties. So basically, he said he was given his child bath and the rest of the children, right? The wife too was, but he said she had a C-section, all right? So he would disappear to go to the doctors, pick up medication, and, helping around the house. He would do their laundries. So he said there was one night he was basically spreading the newly washed clothings from the washing machine, which included his woman's, underwear. So he was separating them. But normally, as they would do, because they've got company, mom and dad are around and stuff, he was going to put those in the bedroom or somewhere that, provides more privacy, which is understandable. But anyway, his mom clocked it. And then, of course, with the ongoing observation, and then she was questioning him that, why are you the one going to the doctors to get medication? Why are you backing your baby in the house? Why is, don't forget, according to the email, the wife was also doing all this, some of this, right? But she couldn't do much of bending. You women would, understand this. C-section had just been cut open, healing up and all that. But anyways, the parents had a million and one things to say in terms of their observation and being unpleasant, particularly his mom, and then were nagging at him and saying, why are you doing this? Why? So he said at first, of course, because of how you were raised, you're mentally conditioned not to talk back. It will be seen as disrespectful. So he said he tried to pull his mom aside, say, Mom, look, man, there ain't nobody walking all over me, doesn't make me less of a man. This is my wife, as you know, and this is how we live in my home. Very rightly so, within the confines of my marriage, right? And there is absolutely, nothing wrong with me doing X, Y, Z to support my wife and all that. So, but of course, the mom took, at first it was the mom that was murmuring and saying stuff whilst the wife would be in the bedroom, maybe sleeping or catering, looking after uh the babies and all that. So eventually the mom took the story to his father, who was also observant, and they were telling him that, in Yoruba, basically you become a simp, you're a weakling, that why would you. So the father, this is what he said, his father particularly said he shouldn't be making contact with his wife's underwear, and apparently that's some kind of a bad luck for him as a man. So let me understand the logic. One, that's his wife. So basically, touching his woman's underwear and then putting that in the wash or helping her spread it or whatever, according to his pops, this caveman mentality drives me up the wall. So basically, that's regarded as some kind of backwardness and all that. So, anyways, he got into a bit of back and forth with his dad and said, because this is exactly what I thought as well. So the woman is good enough for you to lay with, make love to, procreate with, but helping your woman with laundries, touching underwear, is then some sort of bad luck. So if there was going to be an influx of bad luck, it should come from exchanging sexual energy with her to start with. Do you know what I mean? So, anyways, um, you know, the dad was banging on about, oh, X number of years I've been married to your mom, or me and your mom have been together. I have never done X, Y, Z. So he told his dad, look, man, fair enough. You're old school. Whatever works for you. Yeah, whatever my mom accepted and adopted and all that stuff, I don't want to pay attention to those intricacies and all that. This is my home. And it became a heated argument to the point where the wife ended up hearing, I mean, come on, man, typical UK house is usually a box house, except if you live in a really big house. If an argument is getting heated in one room, the walls are thin, the partitioning are very slim. You can easily catch what's being said, except, particularly when voices are being raised. So the wife ended up hearing and stuff, but of course she kept her cool in the bedroom. So the parents were saying, ah, which is a common slang if you speak Yoruba. Basically, it's a figure of speech, but the suggestion is the woman must have used some type of dark energy to be controlling you, maybe by burying something into your food and stuff, whereby she's manipulating you, spiritually and all that to get you to conform and all that nonsense. So he said, at first, of course, like anyone else, his wife didn't say anything. She pulled him up in the bedroom and said, why are your parents saying this? What did I do wrong? Did you tell them that I do your laundries? Like, I'm your wife. I do your laundries. I've been doing it for years. I wash your boxers, where your ball bags sitting. Yes, you're my man and all that stuff. So V, I see you. So, anyways, the dad, to make matters worse, man, this is like some serious stuff. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going to wrap up on this brother's story and then I'll give you a back end to this. So, because this guy raised his voice, by the way, this brother said is a 39-year-old man. So, on the edge of 40. So, things got heated. He told his dad to back away. And, like, dad, there's nobody controlling anybody here. It's me and my wife. And what's wrong with doing laundry? So you can imagine having to be a back and forth with your dad and trying to, stand your grounds, which is understandable. And before the guy knew, the dad landed couple of slaps on his face. How dare you raise your voice on me? We are bad, you're long way. You are. I'm telling you that this girl, I never liked her from day one. I'm telling you that she has taken advantage of you. So when the dad slapped him, of course, the wife jumped out of the room, hearing the loud bang. She knew that he got slapped. And that's where, even with a C-section operation, he had a bandage across her waistline, like he explained in the email, and she lost her cool. He was grabbing onto her, and it's like she was going to tear into her husband's father, like, how dare you? And you know what? That's a keeper right there, man. That's a woman with C-section and watching your man being subjected or reduced to violence from parents with evidently archaic mentality or mindset who think they are a stakeholder in that marriage and all that stuff. And the Bible meaning, daddy my daddy. Oh, you get me? That night, I'm gonna show them the pavement, man. Like, you're gonna slap me in my within the confines of my marriage, my home. Come on, man. That's the height of disrespect. You dig? You didn't catch me meddling into your finance. You didn't catch me doing anything wrong. But because you're my father, you can slap me within the confine. Nah, man. Alẹ́ rẹ̀ máa jáde sá. Hi, me Franco Nero. Alẹ́ yẹn lẹ máa kó pátá yín jáde. You're gonna leave that night. So, and he said, oh, his mom became really dramatic, shouting, Lagbaja, his name, Oti Gbabode, Oti Chekini Kon, Koyekoma Fokpata Obini, basically in English, that's Yoruba. You're not meant to be washing a woman's panties or bras and all that. You dig? So the wife with the pain and the newly stitched belly and all that, for women who've been through, my woman has been through C-section. I'm a dude, I've never experienced it directly, but I've been there, close proximity. It's not a joke. You're not even meant to be stressing. You dig? So he was trying to grab his woman. Please don't fight, don't shout, so that she doesn't get a ruptured belly that can also then create unnecessary, complications that would land them in hospital. It could be life threatening, But she was crying, she lost her emotions, and very, rightly so. And she was telling him that you're going to let this man stand here and slap you about. Of course, he said the slap kind of caught him off guard. All he was just saying was, Dad, no. I'm happy where I am. Please, I don't want this, blah, blah, blah. And before he knew it, bang, the man connected with his face whilst he was dealing with that instantaneous shock. Like, sorry, what? I can imagine the next one, kapow. And then the mom was chiming in, Jovel no daddy any. On let a lot of foility. And he shared well. So, anyways, he lost his cool. The next morning, they had to call some other family member. The man was flexing his muscle, took his bags, the bags, and they went to some other people's house who were like extended family members and all that. So what I suspect from this story is this brother, even though he's absolutely infuriated, and stuff, the parents have gone. They're still here as we speak. So they went to some other family's house. So, of course, he tried his bit, but he's someone that he doesn't have that three-headed dragon type of approach like somebody like me. If 14-year-old by me for starters, Emi Franco Nero, or 1 year come on, man. If you clip me one, like you totally catch me off guard, you're not going to slap me the second time, man. It's not going to. I told you be small. You did my get breakfast. Get go bag. Come on, man. You're not going to spend that night in my house, man. Ita. Itanio. You get what I'm saying, right? Now, check this out, right? So they're currently staying there, and so whilst they were staying with other relatives, you can imagine they threw the whole story under House of Catholic. Franco Nero did So now they took that story, amplified it, typical African parents. So everybody and their mama, extended families, people have basically put their nose. And this is a guy who was busy living his life. There was no craziness, involved in his marriage. He was having a good life with his woman. Now the parents came, the father and mother took the story, then the mom told family, basically, forgive me, I have to speak Yoruba, but basically, he nearly beat up, they lied that he nearly beat up his father, he was going to kick his legs off the ground, which of course, it's a common template of practice by some of these parents. Once they don't have their way, They will do everything to defame you, to attack your character, especially when they're disseminating their lies to the rest of the family so that people can take sides with them and they can label you as being, dangerous and all that. All because, yeah, thank you, T. Kelly, leg sweep. So, and the guy said before he knew what was happening, everybody is ringing him. How can you even think of trying to, even think of laying hands on your father? So, people, there's a difference between somebody calling you and said, I heard such and such. Oh, dude, please take it easy. Don't let your emotion get the best of you. And then you get people who already have a preconceived notion because your parents said this and this. They gaslight you and they said, "Oh, daddy said you gave him a leg sweep. Mommy said you body slammed her on the couch," and you are thinking, "What the?" So the long and short was the parents then went off tangent. They didn't stop there. They then called the wife's parents down back home in Nigeria, back home, started gaslighting his wife and telling the parents that I don't want you, each other if you're not money. Basically, what that means is, oh, you're the ones who gave the dark energy to your daughter to manipulate our son so that she can have her knee on his neck. Basically, you get what I'm saying? So, and in the usual Oduduwa fashion, you set the family on the other end of the phone. You set them ablaze. They will have a million and one things to say in return, and of course, their daughter called them to say such and such happened, and then it became mudslinging, major battle, and all that nonsense, right? So the girl's mother, whilst the daughter-in-law's father was trying to be civil and being a man about the whole thing, her mother was protective, and of course, very rightly so, because of all these ridiculous allegations, and got on the phone, and then everything just kind of exploded. You can imagine. You see what I'm saying? So this brother was telling me, I don't know what to do. My wife now is there with stitches in her belly, crying every day, and she's broken down emotionally and all that. And I understand this. What do I do, man? For me, in terms of priority, make amends with your woman. She knows you, right? Make amends, pet her, talk to her, calm her down. Right? You know me. It's unfortunate my parents have done this, but you know me. So when a woman, at least she's not stupid. She knows you're not a sellout. She knows you didn't throw her under the bus or align with your parents, behavior. In fact, in the process, I got slapped in the face twice. So, and she stood up for me as she's a keeper, as a lovely woman. So, and given the fact that she's just gone through one of the most beautiful process in the world, had your third child, calm her down, pipe her down, bring her head close to your chest, bombard her with forehead kiss, and make her best meal, give her a fit rub, and whatever will calm her down. Just calm her down. All right? Calm her down. She will calm down. Yeah, why would such and such pull her to yourself, throw in the kiss into the corner of the cheek, support it with a forehead kiss, couple of lips in there on the lip to lip contact, rub the shoulder. She's trying to get animated, pull her in. Baby, I'm sorry, okay? For everything, I'm the one who is responsible. Bombard her with a few more kisses on the forehead, on the lips. Don't let the words come out. She will take a breather. She will sit on the couch. You pull out to yourself. She likes cup of tea. Make her a cup of tea. Whatever food, Fununya. Our mediation, she knows, right? She will calm down. Get her back on your side. My good professional advice. She doesn't. Somebody said give her the D. Israel, Allah said you should be money. Don't even think of visiting the sugar wall. Come on, Israel, man. That's brutal, man. Well, if she make demands and you are subtle with it, that might also help to relax things. But I would say stay clear, man. You know, depends on how she's feeling. You know, if she makes demands, you know, you can slide in there very, very gently, and with your lab coat and your dark shades, you can slide in there. But on the more serious note, man. So yeah, so the parents are making a fuss, and they're making a fuss, and he's asking what to do. You know what, man? Sometimes um, do what you got to do, protect your home. Rule number one for me. But this is where I'm going. You see, a lot of these, let me tell you, man, plenty of us, and I'll put this out there, plenty of us are products of this toxic culture. This is where I'm going with the story. Plenty of us. All right. In fact, a gentleman told me there's another story that's similar to this. That reminds me, before I crack on with this, a gentleman once told me that his own mother, because he went to the pharmacy to pick up medication for his children, his mother pulled him to the side. Basically, like, are you well? Why are you going to pick up the medication? It should be your woman. Do you see? These things are nonsensical. They are ridiculous. Because unfortunately, in our environment, whilst I'm a lover of African culture, there are some things that we've adopted and it's been bastardized and we've wrongly labeled and adopted as culture. They're not culture, they are toxic, and they got to go. You have to unlearn them. The difficult thing is, if you're an adult now, like me, you're watching me now, to offload these things. Oh man, Ligon, it's very hard. Let's call it spade a spade. To offload these toxic ways that you've grown up with, right? A lot of these things that we've it's been normalized, right? Because the way we are raised is, for example, they've conditioned you from when you were a little boy, especially for those of you that come from homes where it's a mixture of siblings, like boys and girls, right? Girls, unbeknown to you as a youngin, some of these parents, they groom you in preparation for Ilioko. Basically, you're going to get married. That's like the end goal for them. Now, I understand there are benefits for training up a child to be self-sufficient, knowing how to cook, knowing how to wash. Let's talk about being self-sufficient, right? But for the most part, they're grooming the females for Ololioko. You must know how to cook for. Do you understand me? So they groom the boys, they raise the boys, they raise us, the men, for the association of balls resting your balls on the couch. And I can't count the number of dudes I'll bump into on the high street or via email that would say they can't even boil an egg. They can't even cook a pot of soup. They don't even know how to. Not because they don't want to, they haven't got a clue. You see somebody in their late 30s, even early 40s, they can't cook. It's because of the way you were raised. Because whilst you're growing up in a household, some of you might even have one sister. That sister will be the one in the kitchen with mom slaving away for every dad and the brothers 24/7, doing the dishes, washing the bathroom and toilet, cleaning up the house, running errands to the market, washing the clothing manually with hands. And the boys will basically piggyback on all of that, and that's how they grow, and that's how you are ushered into the society. Now, a lot of these things get exposed when you grow through life, and then you then decide to say migrate to the West. What happens in the West? You're going to be exposed because of cultural difference, because of culture shock, cultural difference, and the mode and the way of life in the West is totally different from back home. So then you soon realize that, say, for example, your wife or whatever, or nature of a job means when you both set out in the morning, she's coming back late in the evening, and then she calls you, Daddy Lagbaja, such and such, baby, can you get the chicken out, please? Can you help me rinse it? Can you thaw the chicken? Can you just put it on fire and put some Maggi and get it boiling? And some women would even say, get it cracking. When I get home, I'll finish off the cooking and stuff. And you can't even boil jack. Or it's not even, you can't even boil jack. The idea that your woman says, please get the chicken out of the freezer, you think you are being subjected to slavery, which is a lie. And let me tell you, man, you see, this topic, this is one of the primary being the objective word, why you hear a lot of all these junk stories and palaver when it comes to relationships. Some of them emanate, some of these problems emanate from just pretty simple things. So, in a way, the way I'm looking at this, right? A lot of these are parents. They subjected us to vicious cycle. Afiz Shobowale, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Right? They subject you into a vicious cycle that's waiting for you in your adult life. So unbeknown to you, you're growing through life. In the not so distant future, you're still going to proclaim your love for some woman. It's not enough to say, I can have a blood shot in my genitalia, slide into a woman's sugar wall, and bring a couple of children into existence. Anyone can do that. But the reality sets in because you have already been set up for failure unbeknown to you. And you know what's even dangerous? So when we start to go through these layers of complexity, say in cohabiting with the other partner, the stories start to come out of the brim of confines of that relationship. It filters back to the same parents that have raised you in a toxic manner. They become opinionated. They then use sentiments to even further destroy you. Because you know why? In the first instance, they don't even have the truth to give to us. I'm telling you for free. You cannot give what you don't have. And let me shock you with this. Let me shock you with this. Did you know that for Chigo Dyke, thank you for the super chat. Did you know that for the most part, let me shock you with this. If you look in our society, some of these really deep into the culture women, because it's a vicious cycle. You can only give what you know. You can operate based on how you were raised. You're a product of your environment. In fact, and I don't mean this in a bad way, at the forefront of upholding a lot of these toxic culture, guess who is at the forefront? It's women. Women are at the forefront of defending a bulk of this toxic culture. Some of you are thinking, Phrankleen, how do you mean? I'll explain. In our community, like in Nigeria, take it back home, right? Within the local, your local jurisdictions and stuff, right? A lot of the women, I'm telling you right now, if you see a man running, like being involved, like school runs, I'm talking back home, I'm not talking to you about the West now. Like you're going to school, you're running to the pharmacy, your daughter is like poorly, or your son is, and you carry the son. As a man, you're trying to do the needful as a dad. I'm telling you, the number one persons that will attack you and tear you to shreds are the women, both young and old. And this is not a joke. They will be the one to say, Kilon Sheleyi, it's the women that would actually say to you that, hey, yo, there's something wrong with this man. Listen. This is a man who he's doing the needful, who is genuinely making effort. He has not lost his mind, right? I'm being involved, like, oh, I run to the pharmacy. Ah, good morning, madam. My daughter couldn't sleep through the night. She's got this pretty high temperature. Please, the first thing they will say to you is, what are you doing here? Where is her mom? Why? What? Why are you the one running around? No. We can't speak to you. Go and call the mom. The mom has to deal with this. Why? Because there is a preconceived notion that you are not meant, like, how do I word this? The mental condition is so bad that you think, oh, there's something odd. Like the man is not meant to function in that regard. The same women that are shouting about, oh, maybe men subject them to XYZ ill treatment. So they'll talk about patriarchy, they'll talk about misogyny. You don't understand how deep this problem is. Women will fight laboriously. They will fight. They would discredit you blatantly to your face. I've been in Africa several times in our society in Nigeria. You hear women talking. Oh, look at this man. Look at this one. He's the one bringing his daughter to school or his children to school. Is this one even a man? And you think, wait, what kind of logic is this? So that a man would put his children in a car and choose to bring them to school. Sometimes even teachers in some schools, the moment you're making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inquiries, but you're trying to get involved in your children's education, even the female teachers, even some, they look at you like, what? Like this guy is doing the most. I'm telling you, when a man is, apart from the Instagram type comments and all this cheesy commenting on the pictures, when I used to, let me tell you this, let me tell you the truth. I started on YouTube as Nigerian Food Channel. For those that have known me for years, right? If you go and look through my playlist, you see my food channel, you see my food videos, about 100 plus recipes and stuff, yeah? Before I rebranded it to Phrankleen, all right? I remember over the years, I started in 2013, banging out cooking, recipes and all that with the support of my missus, Victoria, right? Now, I remember getting a lot of toxic comments. Guess what? It was mostly from women, females. Like sometimes you get stuff like, what are you trying to prove? Do you not have something better to do with your life? Can you imagine? Because I am cooking, I'm making jollof rice, right? Or I'm making a panini, or because I'm making fried rice, because I'm making pounded yam, because I'm making a foile goosey spinach. Why are you making food videos? What? There are male chefs who are multi-millionaire, the Gordon Ramsays, they're the big names, but there's nothing wrong with that. You see the mentality. I'm telling you, man, why are you cooking? Why are you doing this? Should your wife this? Oh, that they've turned you to a carpet, like it's a slang, like I'm like a doormat now. And you see the mentality is deeply rooted. I'm telling you, some of these women, there is no amount of analysis or explanation that would change the toxicity. So what am I saying? It's the society. Because why? A lot of the defenders of this toxicity, they were raised like that. They've accepted it. They believe it's the norm. You understand? So they can't exist outside the box in terms of their thought processes or see it differently. Like I said, they will be the ones to point fingers and call you names. So just when you're having a good time with your woman and your woman is just loves you for who you are, you're basically having a division of labor in your home. I can cook, my missus can cook, or whatever, right? They think oh, people are asking for links. Okay. Let me share, because you're asking for link. You want to say something? All right. Let me see if I can get you the link. People are asking for link to, what do you want to say? So, like this brother, I'm tying this into the story. The parents believe that doing laundry is, all of these things they're toxic, man. Some of your moms, they put up with unbelievable toxicity going through so-called marital life that they had with your fathers, right? That's why, especially some of you females. So if somebody smashes a blender on your head, They will say to you in Yoruba, "I want my 4 year on you, my 4 year on it." Basically, they will tell you stay in there and accept it. O láti 4 year on it, mo 4 year on pẹ̀lú daddy ẹni. Daddy ẹ jù mí láti balcony lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta now. Your father flung me through the balcony. I stood by him. Look at him today. He's in his 60s. He's a better man. That woman is broken beyond measure. And they will sell you this narrative. You know, like in our community, and I say this, you know, I'm not afraid to say this. Some of these, this is why you got to be careful who you listen to, who you put your business in. Some of you allow sentiments to govern you. Let me tell you, man, no disrespect, but if your mother came from a time where the mentality in terms of they were just went through domestic abuse from A to Z of that relationship, what do you think your mother is going to be able to tell you in 2021? She grew old in that process. Your father looks calm now because arthritis and old age has dealt with his black behind. You understand? So your father, that is now grandfather to your own children, is not necessarily a nice man. That woman is just stuck and just chosen, you know, to just remain and all that. If you want to dial in, I've provided the link. Let me hear what you've got to say. So some of them, that's why even me as a dude, I'm not afraid to say this. A lot of these parents, they try to blow out of proportion, like when they try to discredit this generation. In my own times, be very careful what you adopt from these people. Be very careful. Be very careful. Because somebody is your mom or because somebody is your dad doesn't exactly mean they have what it takes to advise you on how to live your life. Be very careful. Hold on, there's somebody here. Hello. Oh, hold on. Hello. 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 Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah,
bro.
hi Phrankleen.
What's going on, man?
Hi. Yeah. This is my first time watching your program anyway. Well, I've heard a lot about
Yeah,
it.
so what did you want to say, bro?
Hello.
Okay, you can rejoin, all right? I think your connection is bad. Can't hear you properly. So if you wanna have a chat with me, click on it and let's have a chat. In 2-3 minutes, what did you want to say? That brother can rejoin. I think your connection is bad. So, like I'm saying, all right, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, if it's good enough to go into your wife's honeypot, in fact, if it's even good enough for you to, you know, slap your mouth in there, that's a choice. Whatever you do in your bedroom, kokaye, it's nobody's business. All right. But there's nothing to see here, is all I'm trying to say. So all of these toxic culture is what they use. That's why a lot of people, some of you are watching this. Seriously speaking, you should be enjoying your relationship with your partners, man. I've realized that a lot of our families, because of these nonsensical beliefs, they will find a way to turn your relationship to a dumping ground if you let them. That's why it's meant to be watertight. Keep your business to yourself, man. What works in your home, what keeps you happy, keep your business to yourself. Your mother shouldn't come to your house, or your father shouldn't come to your house and be saying, you know, if you're, my wife does my laundries, I do my wife's laundries. We can both sleep butt naked. We can do whatever we want. What you know, what's how is that? I don't know, man. It's like some dude was telling me the other time, like I remember the time that one day I told you know, I told my mom that my missus gave me BJ. Shodi Daruni. How did the conversation? Oh, my mom was like, a woman that does that is going to something eat up. You know those church people. Oh, is going to eat up your destiny. that woman is going to destroy you. How I cannot imagine for the life of me, on a very serious note, what kind of conversation will I have with my mother that would go in the direction of me blurting out that my woman gave me BJ. What the hell is wrong with some of you? That both sides of your mouth are just loose. Pé mà ìyàwó ẹ̀ ń gbé iṣan sẹ́nu, kí ló kàn kíní tó bá gbé kíní sẹ́nu, kí ló ti kàn máa ẹ yóò mú bọ̀. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please.
Yeah, so you're killing me with your language. But I did have a similar experience when I gave birth. Oh my goodness. So my husband and I are from two different tribes. So
Okay.
my husband chose to give my child a name from my tribe.
Right.
I didn't have a problem with it. It caused a big problem. I mean,
Wow.
it was oh my goodness. I mean, you would have
Wait.
thought,
It caused a problem. What? Your husband's parents, right?
yeah, you would have thought. I mean, you would have thought I don't even know. It was a huge problem. I mean, it was so bad that one of my husband's people called me, not to tell me congratulations or anything, to curse my husband out. Just cursed him out. And
Wow.
I cursed him back out. I told him, láyé láyé ẹ má bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mọ́. Like, I
Ashiri.
cursed him out.
Washiri.
And my mom was in the background begging me to change the name. I was like, it's already on the birth certificate. We're not changing it.
That's your child.
No, and we went through hell to have this child. It was not like we went through hell, and they were aware.
You know. Sorry, forgive me. Crack on, please.
We went through hell to have this baby, and I thought you were calling me to congratulate me, knowing what we went through, and they just cursed. This nigga just called and started cursing. I was like, what's going on? He called my husband a simp. He cursed him out. He said my husband should have named him his name, named the baby the name, just nasty. And I told him, listen, it's already on the birth certificate. No, you have to go change the birth certificate. What?
Wow. The audacity.
My mom was like, oh no, just do it for the sake of peace. I was like, no, I'm not changing this. It was like, so then your child has no name from our child, from the tribe. I was like, they have the last name. The child has a last name, but because it's
Goddamn
a girl,
right.
they're like, they was like, well, it's a girl, so she can change the name when she gets. I'm like, so what does that mean? I was like, I didn't name this child. He named him. Like, oh my god, it was a
So,
mess.
sorry, can I ask you something, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I appreciate you for even sharing this. That's powerful, man.
Mm-hmm.
But how, if you don't mind me asking,
Mm-hmm.
what was your husband's position? How did he approach this? Where I can imagine you being bombarded by these unrequired attack, undeserved attack from these people. How did he manage that time?
He told them to go to hell.
Well
And
done. Oh, man.
they called him. He just ignored them. He just said, this is it, this is the name. And so because they couldn't go through him, they came to me and tried to go through they called my mom. And my mom was like, just for the sake of peace, let's just do this. It's not cultural. I said, I didn't name this child. The child, its name is already there. No, blah, blah, blah. It was a mess. I mean, they called, I would never forget that day because that day was my birthday and I was still bleeding. And
Oh,
it was, it was very traumatic for me. I cried and
hey,
just,
sorry to
from
hear
then,
that, man.
I'm trying to forgive this person, but I have just kept my distance. But my husband, I told him this is what happened, was like, I'm sorry, that's it. and the name has stuck. Like we're not like we don't even call her the English name or whatever. That's what we call her. That's it. Like even when we go to the house and we try to, I mean, they try to call her the other name. He's like, no, this is her name, and that's it. I'm like,
I mean, so let me understand this, right? Now,
uh,
the bone of contention is some
mm,
people, self-appointed,
yeah,
believe that they can dictate the name that you and the man procreated. I mean, dictate
yeah,
the name that you give to a child, your
and
child.
the name was even given prior to conception. Like my husband was like, this is the name I'm going to name this child. We've been through
Yeah.
hell. This is the name I'm going to give this child. And I was like, okay, fine. I didn't even know. It got to a point I was even trying to. I was like, oh my god, do I change it? Do I? I was trying to waver. I was trying to. I was like, okay, let's at least add the other name. It was like, no, this is the name. That's it. We're sticking
So
with
let
it.
me ask you. Let me ask you.
Uh-huh.
Have they ever apologized to you?
No, never, never will, never will, and it's just going to be part of life. Never
Yeah, and
will.
I'm sure for that reason, they will have
Mhm.
deeply rooted resentment for you.
Probably, probably, but luckily my husband just doesn't give a doesn't just does not care at all. Does not. He has a mind of his own. He just does whatever he wants to do
Yeah.
and just gives everybody the finger. So
Salute,
doesn't
salute to the brother, man.
does not
That's that's
care.
that's how you
So
do it.
I mean, he's a big listener to this. He's probably listening in now, but he doesn't care.
Tell
Just
him,
doesn't
tell
care.
him, tell him I'm giving him a massive shout out, man. That's a man
Yeah.
right there. Thank you.
So
I
yeah.
appreciate you. Thank you
So
very much.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Now, did you hear that? That's brilliant. This is what I've been banging on about. Thank you to that sister for giving, for sharing that snippet. This is what I've been saying, man. If you're a man, protect Ilie. Don't allow your mother's breast milk to be dripping on both sides of your mouth, right? To be desperately dripping on both sides of my mom said we should give the baby. Do you see what I'm saying? Some of us men, that's how you expose your woman, you expose your home in the name of sentiment because your spinal cord is made out of jelly. You see now, I enjoy that little story that woman shared with us. You see that man played an effective role because he stuck by his woman. He put his foot down. Let me tell you, man, it would have been very hard for that woman to be able to put her foot down if the brother was like, baby, the family, it's the way it's done. You must conform, and then they will come in like a tsunami. Imagine the audacity. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming around causing gone. You see what I'm saying? So this is all these sentiments. It's just I've heard a story of somebody that remind me that said so she had herself and her husband had a first child, and so husband's mom calls from Africa and said, like, of course, parents would say, oh, we want to give our grandchild, this name. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all love, all right? There's nothing wrong with that. But then the husband's mom, which is this woman's mother-in-law, specifically said, the name that I'm giving you must be the name that the child's first name must be on the birth certificate. And she even went further to say, once you get the child's birth certificate, I want you to forward me a copy. Excuse me? Forward you to who? The audacity. So the woman said, okay. And then she said her husband was like, my mom, she likes to have her way. We're any boy. Let me bring on the next person. Senior man.
How you doing, Phrankleen?
I'm great. You?
Not too bad, not too bad. This is a good one. It's my very first time of calling in. I've been listening to you for like 3 years,
My
but
man.
you know.
So what do you
um,
think?
Now this thing is just everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. It happens all the time. There's no one set way of dealing with it. You just have to kind of manufacture a way of keeping them at bay. The thing the other sister just said about giving the child the name,
Yes.
it actually happened to me. I named my child,
Ah,
and my mom, my mom decided to give my child her own name. The child is now 13, and my mom still calls her the name she gave her. So she will call and say, "Oh, how is Boluwatife?" I'm like, "Who's that?" And she'll say, "Oh yeah, of course your daughter." No, no, I didn't name her that. You named her that though. She'll say, "Oh yeah, but that's the name we get. That's not on a birth certificate." But they they're adamant they would not change. So it's I can't I don't know, but this is it's just a set way. And what I find really amusing about this whole thing is these people are the most religious people you would find anywhere. They're the, a lot of them are the most educated people you will find anywhere.
let me
But
say
when it
something
comes to
very
their
quickly to that. Let
yeah,
me just say, 'cause I want you to carry on. You see, I don't care, man, because me, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I'm into African spirituality, and I beat my
yeah,
chest.
yeah.
I'm Orumila's general. I'm gonna let you Orumila me or anybody. I represent.
Now
Nah,
there.
nah. Let me tell you, my brother. Religious people are the most narcissistic people there is because
Yep.
they are mentally chained, they are mentally conditioned. That's why they are very judgmental, they're very
Mm,
hypocritical. So, for example, if they are sat
mm,
here now, and then you just walk into a room, and then there's praise the Lord, and then you just say and they look at you, they realize you're not saying hallelujah or something like that.
problem.
What's wrong with this? So why are you not saying the Bible says in the book of Matthew, boy, if you don't shut your mouth, like, oh, I am not blah 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 blah. They will
Mm,
instantaneously start to attack your character, your person. They
mm,
will let you know right there that there is a first class ticket waiting for
mm,
you to go to hellfire. Oh my
mm.
God, they will tell you right there. They will tell you.
Straight.
They will tell you you are going to burn. They will tell. Come
Mm,
on, man. In
mm,
3, 2, 1, they will let you know there is a curse, there is this. In fact, some of them will look at you. The moment you don't agree with them, you don't conform, they will tell you you are demonic.
mm,
A lot of these
mm,
things is what the template they use to condition their children, who then grow to
mm,
become you and I, adults into the society. Some of
mm,
them are even trapped themselves. Like what you are
mm,
saying now, my brother, this is my because as you know, you've been watching me for quite some time. I make
mm,
content. I'm on this platform, and my bro, when I look at some things critically nowadays, you realize as
mm,
the bulk of the problems that people deal with, all of these
mm,
relationship
mm,
palaver, people is like, my
mm,
G, I'm telling you, man, when you allow all of these sentiments
mm,
baggage dropping into the confines
mm,
of the relationship that should be you and your missus or
mm,
the other way around. You get what I'm saying?
mm.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah, got you.
So you now you met a woman of your dreams, you both procreated, you brought children into existence. Your
Mm,
mom, not in a bad way, then decides to peep over the fence of that marriage and say, I've got a name that you must call
mm,
that child.
mm,
That's the name you and then whoa, 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 mom. Whoa,
mm,
slow down, man.
mm,
Over here, me and
mm,
my wife have decided
mm.
to call the child such and such and such.
Yep.
Hey, oh my
Mm-hmm.
drama starts.
It
Why do
seems
you
like you were
feel the
there.
need that you
That was
got
the
to come
drama.
in? You feel you got to come in, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
man, that's the
Mm,
point where the firmness, the
mm,
assertiveness is required.
mm,
The most part,
mm,
and I'm saying this as a dude, the
mm.
man, if it's
Yeah.
especially if it's from your side. The woman
Mm,
too, if your daddy's girl or whatever, your mommy's girl, they're trying to wade in. keep them outside the confines, you have peace of mind. That's all I'm banging on about.
Yeah.
Because all of this, why would your parents come visiting? It's not bad that your parents come visiting. Nobody's saying your parents shouldn't come, but you come into my home, you start to count my woman's pieces of meat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you are married to the woman, if your wife wants to eat 4 pieces of meat, you're not even looking at her twice. You are living your life. You are peace of mind. Your mom comes to spend 2 weeks from Africa. She's already has 1,000,001 things to say, wanting to give you a template of how you should run that relationship, which will dump you into nothing but into a pit of problems. And then they would have it's always this narcissistic control. They want to, this narcissistic behavior, they want to impose. And that's where me, Phrankleen, me, I'm like a 3-headed dragon. I'm the black sheep in my family. I don't send anybody. I'm not a bad guy, but I'm very firm. You understand me? So, like, for example, the typical African setting, some older people, just because they are older now, for example, they think they can just finger snap. Your woman should cook for everybody, and the guy that lives next door and the 2 blocks away, your wife should run errands. So you come into a room now, every uncles and aunties are sat down, and they expect your wife must carry their bags, must come to their house and cook for them because of blah, blah, blah. The noble thing to do, your wife walked into a room, she's greeted everybody as a display of respect and good mannerism. That's normal, right? And then, bossy B, come and get on your knees. Do you know this? Hey, yo!
Come on.
And some of us dudes, you sit there, you watch all that happen. Hey, it's our culture. It ain't no culture, man.
Yeah.
Because some of them, for self-gratification, they want to wall over your woman, they want to grind them to the ground. Even if it's your mom. Hey, yo, my mom started about to follow my Maya. Stop.
Exactly.
Let me see me. Ni wo. Keep on your sinu bra. Don't talk to my wife like that. And if you're going to come into my house with karate chops and start to tell me that I'm being disrespectful, hey, yo, that's the door. Use it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Go on, my brother. Forgive me. I have to go off a bit. Go on.
No worries. I think what actually happened in the story you just told us is the way the man has been dealing with his parents. That gave them the effrontery to come to his house and actually make comments like that.
Yeah.
Because if he had put them at put them in their place even before they came visiting, they wouldn't have the strength to even come and say blah 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 blah. Especially, this story is kind of surprising because especially the father-in-law. Normally, father-in-laws or fathers don't even get into those kind of business. It's normally the mother-in-laws without sounding to but it's just why would you slap a man in his own house? Come on now. That is the height of disrespect, right? You can't do that.
I have seen some African parents. I have seen some African parents here, and I'm telling you this for free. There was a case of a guy that I know here in the UK, no word of lie, my guy. This was a few years ago, where the guy was arguing with his mom because his mom was trying to dictate to him about his own children. And he was like, Mom, no, this is how me and my wife we're going to handle this particular situation. So the mom was then going off tangent. I was the one that raised you, and he said, this is not the time and place for all those stories. These are my biological children. This is how I choose to, in agreement with my wife, to deal with. And the mother slapped him in front of his son. Do you understand how belittling that is?
Whoa.
Imagine you're basically, especially when you have like young boys or girls, they're going through their formative years, like early teenage years. This is a 14-year-old son going towards 15 that is trying to rear his head, which is understandable. You get those challenges because they're young, they're discovering their body, maybe misbehaving in school. You're battling with that. Imagine your mother slapping you regarding your son in front of your 14-year-old. That's your integrity diminished.
Eradicated, like killed, killed, killed. That is domestic abuse as well.
Of
That is
course.
violence. That's violence. That is violence.
Yeah, Jack, some of
That's
these, this is what I'm telling you, man. And they hide, they use, they bastardize this word. Yeah, it's our culture, it's discipline. That ain't no damn discipline. That's an abuse.
that's it's the thing is, it's so rife in our culture. It's so rife in, and this it sounds like it's across the whole of Africa, because when you talk about Nigeria, you speak to a Ghanaian, you speak to a Cameroonian, a South African, it's almost the same. It happens. It's like an embedded African culture. I don't understand where this is come from.
I'm
It's
telling you, bro.
become a culture and tradition, a way to suppress your feelings, your ideas. You can't
Your
sit in a
critical
room with
thinking.
elders. Yeah, you can't sit in a room with elders when they're talking because you're a child. Come on. How do you get to learn if you don't learn from your elders?
Thank you.
If you can't sit in a room with them, how do you learn from them?
And
The children,
you dare not correct them. You dare not tell them
no.
that they are in the wrong.
I said, no,
They are
no, no,
blatantly
no,
in the wrong. You are not stupid, and you think, dad or uncle or auntie or mom or this is nah. They want to no man.
no.
This is why I'm saying this, man. This is not about some of them. They end up having limited vocabulary in wrong.
Mm,
They know they're in the wrong.
mm,
They start saying, all sorts of
mm.
stuff. They take a sharp left, and then if it happens that you live in the West, they'll say, oh, it's because you live in the West, you're not westernized. What's that got to do with the
O-
West? If I was on the
Òtútù ti
soil
fẹ́
of
ṣe ẹ lórí.
Africa as we speak, I'll say the same thing. Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. It's the
This
way
is
it's
it.
it's,
This is
it's always
I
the
think
way.
the problem that we have is a lot of people, they actually agree with me. They know that the things I'm saying is right. But when it comes to implementation, being able to
Yeah.
put your foot down, look at your mother dead
Mm,
in the eye. I'm not asking you to pick up your mother, inflict her with physical violence. That's not what we're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you have to be stern. If somebody appears to be an abuser, your father comes into your marriage, your home, guy, in front of your wife, slaps you over some trivial conversation, and you're dead. See,
nah,
me,
nah.
bro,
That is horrible.
he's going through the
That is
door that
horrible.
night, man. And that's
Up
the
to an
end.
ex up to an extent where the wife is now trying to defend her husband in front of her father-in-law. That is just proper mad, just proper mad violence going on in the house. Imagine. She's now trying to defend a guy from his own dad.
Imagine.
It should be the other way around, right? I don't. Anyway,
It's
no, I don't want to take too much time. My first time calling. Happy to speak
Thank
to
you,
you,
brother. I
bro.
appreciate you, man.
Keep the good work
Thank you.
going. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So this is what I'm saying, man. If there's anyone that still wants to come on, a few minutes left. Click on that link. You got to learn to put your foot down. That's the final say on this one. That's what we're saying. What I've realized from doing this show, getting all these stories, what it has pretty much exposed to me is there are so many of you, both men and women, that are dealing with these toxic culture, these issues. Some of you are too afraid. Some of you would rather, from a distance, maybe send upkeep or money or whatever. You can't even come to look at your dad and say, Dad, no. Mom, no. Because you're too afraid. Why are you afraid? Faith, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Why are you afraid? They said, Phrankleen, it's called types, man. Enmeshment. I see you, yeah. I'm telling you, man. Somebody said I want to come on. If you want to come on, please click on that link, Richel. Click on that link and come on right now. All right, click on it and then come speak to me. I'm waiting for you. Imagine, I remember speaking to one gentleman that I bumped into offline, 55-year-old, and he told me, no word of lie. He said, Phrankleen, said, I'm not gonna lie, man. He goes, I'm 55. This is somebody looking at 60, 55-year-old. He said, I'm too afraid to like challenge my mom. She's too controlling. Ha, I lie. If you're 55 and you can't be assertive, be firm, and put an end to all this toxic nonsense, you're never going to do it. And they know it's emotional blackmail coupled with abuse. They know. They know. Imagine his mother sold his parcel of land behind him without his knowledge. His wife found out, lost her cool. She said, go to your mom, ask her to refund the money. He couldn't do it. What does that even say about you? 55-year-old. Èmi àti ìyá ẹ̀, a jọ máa wọ inú hellfire jà padà síta if there is hellfire somewhere. Ó máa dá owó ilẹ̀ mi padà. Ó ta kíni? Àbáyé. Let me calm myself down. Ó ta ilẹ̀ mi without my knowledge or consent. If you don't refund me, I'm at the magistrate, sir, because you're my mom. That's theft. That's basically you're trying to shove your criminality down my lungs. A theft of my assets. Timothy Jeffun. Woo! Hello.
Hello, Phrankleen.
Hi. I can hear you loud and clear.
How are you, man? This is the
I'm all
first
right,
time
bro.
I'm calling in. I didn't get too much of the starting of the story, but I kind of get the gist of where you're going. Basically, toxic parents interfering into their kids' marriages and things like that. That's a big problem this in our community, and there are so many stories left, right, and center from the father. Oh, you can't marry from this tribe, you can't marry from that tribe, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. It's all rampant, and I don't know how we solve this issue, man. We'll be hoping that okay, to some extent, um, our generation will outlive it somehow. But the way I see it, it's not happening. Some part of our generation is still absorbing this and transferring the culture up forward because you see things like, oh, why would a man, as you said, want his mother to be knowing what kind of sexual position him and his wife are having in bed? How the hell is that her business? Did she tell you what kind of sexual position she and her husband are doing? I don't understand even, as you said, how did that conversation even happen? It's weird. Why would you want to discuss that with your mother? Even how many girlfriends you had in the past, how is that one your mother's problem? You don't discuss those things with your mother. Fine, you want to be close to your mother and your parents. There are ways of doing that and everything. You can get advice from her, yes. You can get advice from anywhere. There's internet nowadays. You don't necessarily have to get it from one place. So I don't know. It's a big issue that we need to tackle of
You'll
all the
be
other issues.
bro, you'll be shocked because I think like in line with what you said just now, these problems emanate from the way, they raised you from childhood, and you'll be shocked. It's the same way where some people will say, oh, I got my wife, I'm married and stuff, and then you put all of your land property related documentations and all that in the hands of your parents, and they are happy. They will take advantage of that. A good parent, look, let me give an example. You're building a house, you're doing all this, except if there is blatant evidence that that woman is a bad woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? A
Uh-huh.
good parent will say to you, why are you keeping your land documents with me? Go and give them to your wife to keep for you. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't make them less of your mom or anything, but because when they start to handle those sensitive documents and stuff, they know that in the near future, or maybe unfortunately, if you pass away, or they'll find a way to steal something from you, and then they'll just attack that woman and keep it for
I
themselves, or
think
even share it with your other
honestly,
siblings.
when it has to do with sensitive documents, I feel we Africans should stop this nonsense. We should stop this nonsense. You don't hear people from the West giving family members sensitive documents of any kind, whether your wife, your brother, your father. There are banks, safety deposit boxes. Lock your sensitive documents there. Simple.
Exactly.
Why would you put your will anywhere near anyone or even your land document? It makes no sense. Anyone can take them. Okay, what if you and your wife get divorced? She has the documents. What if you and your parents have a problem? They have your document. What if you and your brother have a problem? They have your document. What if you and your friend have a problem? They have your document. No, you don't think that thinking is backwards. You put your sensitive document in a bank where this is a institution that caters for sensitive documents. If anything happens, you sue them. That's how it's done. But honestly, it's backward thinking. And as per the other cases, honestly, when it comes down to, because I was talking to a friend about it, a lot of our cases has to do, unfortunately, poverty mentality. Because honestly,
Yeah.
as you said, as you said, a lot of these people are ingrained in churches and everything. We were not talking about it. How many religious people are in Japan? The economy is booming. Not all of them are okay. They are not praying to God for giving them the basic listen, amenity, because our leaders have decided to vacate their responsibilities to give us normal amenities. So we now think, oh, the church will give it to us. Guess what? The church, unfortunately, is now saying, we have a lot of customers. Yes, let's find a way to get some money from them. Good shows upon shows upon shows. You can see a church will have 7 or 6 I don't know what it's called now again, masses or whatever in a day or a Sunday or something like you
Oh,
see in the
it's
middle of
all
the.
money making schemes, man. It's
I'm
just all
like,
money
what?
making schemes.
I'm like, who are they catering for? How many people want to come to that church? Honestly. So I think, unfortunately, people back home, and unfortunately, even some of us in the diaspora have this weird mentality about a lot of things. You
Yeah, because you're a product of your environment, how you were raised. Also, I always like to make this clear. Sometimes the fact that you live in the diaspora doesn't mean anything, because these are the same people that have already become adults. They've been raised with those toxic mentality, and then they come to the diaspora. They are already fully grown adults. It's just a change of environment. And that's why we try to enforce. You see, the thing that gets me angry is, as Africans, yes, we have our own culture, right? But most of the things that we latch onto that we call culture is not culture. They are toxic. And we are always making that effort in trying to pass it on and impose or enforce and, impose it on other people. That's where the problem lies. How can you have a child, like somebody said earlier? How can you have a baby with your partner and then your mom or the other person's mom or whatever starts a war because they want to impose whatever name on the child? Why? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, because when you look at it, there are other things to start a war about. If that's your purpose, a name, come on, makes no difference, because sometimes you not think about, okay, who actually named us? Was it our grandparents or was it our parents? Maybe we should
Who knows?
ask them. Listen, I don't know, because the whole thing is just weird. Because to tell someone to go and change their name because you don't like the name, come on, you can have you can have a suggestion. Okay, you like this name, like, let's give in this name. Maybe you are trying to give some kind of reverence to one of your grandfathers or something. That maybe that can be a sentimental name, but at the end of the day, if you don't want to do that, that is your own prerogative. And I think we back home, we should learn to live with everybody. Not this, oh, listen, I'm Muslim, so I'm not going to talk to any Christians. I'm just saying, I'm Christian, so I'm not going to talk to any Muslim. Even in the so-called Christian community, you say, oh, he's Catholic, this I won't talk to him. Oh, he's you say, oh, he's Pentecostal, I'm not going to talk. Oh, he goes to Christ Embassy, I won't talk to him. You say, oh, he goes to this church. What is the problem? Like I keep on telling people, you think you'll be in your bubble. When you come to work, you work with everybody. You cannot just say, oh, because he worships goats, listen, I will not talk to him or I will not do business with him. You will die there. It's that simple. We that are in the West, you have seen it. The so-called people that we should not work with. We work with everybody. We work with gay people, we work with trans people, we work with non-binary people. We work with them. We talk to them. Has it killed us? No. But if you tell an average Nigerian that, oh, that you're going to work with this non-binary person, this that lives in Nigeria, say, hey, God forbid. Look, you will just remain where you are. You need to cut that stuff out. Pray to your God in your house. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you, bro.
Anyway,
I appreciate you, man.
Anyway, Phrankleen, listen, I don't want to hold you up. I know my name is very long, so don't even bother pronouncing it. But the short form is the famous actors that were having jokes everywhere around the internet at some point in time. So that's the short form. That's the long form. Although the other ones as well. I'm not going to bore you with it. Anyway, Phrankleen, take care.
Thank you, my bro, man.
I'm not going to bore you.
Yeah, you on it?
Okay, Phrankleen.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, man. What's up?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I just had a few points to make on the
Go.
topic.
Yeah. Go.
First of all, I think it's important to mention that a lot of these things are passed down. So if you look at the mother-in-law, for example, she's only doing what was done to her by her own mother-in-law. So she's basically just, I'm not justifying her actions and I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that since it was done to her and she never really had the opportunity to sort of express herself in her own husband's house, it's only, I guess, right, or it's only balanced to do the same to her own son. So that's when she's able to live the life she never really got to live. So that way she's kind of vicariously living through her son, if that makes sense. I hope you get the point I'm trying to make there. Like, okay, when she was young and she wanted to do these things, I'm sure more than likely her own mother-in-law had been, I guess, the bane of her life. So now she's going to be the same to somebody else's daughter. So she's basically just passing it down. Like if you look, for example, what you were saying about the name, that woman more than likely never got to name her own child. So now she wants to name her own grandchild because that's when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
So right. Unfortunately, there are just a lot of people passing down these, I guess you don't like to call it culture, but that's actually what it is. It's just bad culture. It's toxic culture that we need to get rid of. And a lot of people are still actively just passing it down rather than just not, repeating that cycle.
You know what I was saying, you and Nate, right? Is when you look at, apart from individual differences, say you're dating someone or you're married to someone, right? I mean, you have occasionally you have your frictions and things will go wrong that you have to both deal with. But what I'm saying is the bulk of the problems that most people then are subjected to, or say, for example, you're with someone now. On a good day, you shouldn't have to be dealing with nonsensical in-law palaver, right?
Agree. So
if whereby the man in 3, 2, 1 should shut that nonsense down right from the inception, right? And the moment that thing finds its way into the confines of that relationship, that problem will just stay there like a cancer. And in fact, unbeknown to you, it becomes a baggage you then have to be dealing with. For whatever reason, will keep on popping up, and then the man will give you 1,000,001 reason while you need to accommodate, or there's no need. Is my mom, even let's say the woman is just shouting abuse or comes to spend a day, 2, 3, and then pretty much tippy-toeing around here watching you do this. Oh, you lie down too much. Oh, you're wearing a shiny dress. That's all that ridiculous nonsense.
Exactly. I agree. But then it's important that you mentioned that the man has to shut it down. But then it's also important to point out that a lot of men, I don't really want to go into like psychology, but there's this thing where they talk about like, when the physical cord is cut, a lot of men, a lot of mothers don't cut the mental cord. So technically, they would always feel attached to their sons. So when it comes to really, really big moments in their lives, like getting married, having children, and stuff like that, the women would always feel like, oh, mommy, like he's my son. I have to have a say. And in most times, it comes from a good place because they want to lead their son right, but then they incapacitate the son because they're basically taking on his role. And then that becomes a conflict between two women because by default, the woman is actually married to the mother. It's just that she's living through her own son. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's where the
Yeah.
conflict arises because.
Well, you see, I get the whole my son, I love my son,
Yeah.
I unreservedly or whatever, right? I get that. But
Yeah.
for me, to cut the long story short, man, you gotta like,
Yeah, a
if
time has to come, I believe, that a man has to enforce it.
yeah,
And unfortunately,
you gotta
sometimes
respect
it's too
boundaries.
late. It's too late most of the time. It's when there's another woman in the picture, that's when the men want to enforce it. And then the woman now blames the girlfriend and says, oh, my son wasn't like this before. And it's because the man never actually did the work of cutting that tie with his mother. Because mothers never really want to let go of their sons, even when they're older. It's funny how mothers are able to let go of their female children and allow them to be wives to other men. But when it comes to their son, they really want to stay there and dominate.
How can like, and again, another thing is because you love your son so much, right? Let's say, I'm talking hypothetically. So let's say you make some kind of demand or you're trying to achieve something and you feel your son should be able to do it. And he says, Mom, sorry, I can't do that at the moment. Maybe asking you for, say, £300 as an example.
Yeah.
And I say, I've got commitments. I can only give you £50 now.
Yeah.
I've got kids, I'm married, I have bills to pay, got my family. Now, these moms, the wife can be the gentlest person you've ever come across by nature, somebody really meek, doesn't cause any trouble with anybody. They will then drum up this narrative.
Yeah.
Come on, no,
Yeah. It's the hierarchical structure
go
that
around
we have.
attacking the wife's character.
I think it's just that that's that hierarchy we have, like we're Yoruba, so we understand that okay, I want Gbalagbari, that kind of thing. So they basically just pull on the opportunities available for them as adults to trample on who is beneath them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if they can't blame the son directly, it must be the people around him, and the easiest target in that case is women. And let me also point out that there's always competition between women. That's why it's very important that a man enforces boundaries really quickly. Like, okay, mom, you're my mom, my wife is my wife. Once he's unable to do that effectively, there's always going to be competition because that female energy tends to be quite competitive with each other. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's where the problem is.
You're saying you lot have a problem. Chai, you're right though. You're bang on the money, bullseye with that statement. Go on, Gianni.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's interesting as well because once you look at it further, you realize that women are actually the gatekeepers of this same thing that oppresses us. Because she's been oppressed, she's going to oppress another woman, and then the woman learns to just cope with that by passing it on to the other woman that comes into the family. So again, it's just this thing that keeps repeating itself because unfortunately, most of the time, like one of the callers said, I think his name was Senior Man or something. He said that a lot of times the men never really get involved. And the reason is because it's the women who feel like they need to have a say in their son's life from birth till when they die. For some reason, it just gives them purpose. And it shouldn't be like that, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that's just what it is.
So
women are the
basically,
gatekeepers
what you're saying is, so even when the son is being assertive and saying, Mom, nope, here's the boundary. Don't cross the boundary. So then you see some of these women. I mean, some of them even go off tangents and try to. Some of them even try to conjure up the application of dark energies to attack the wife.
Exactly. I think it begs the conversation of if we really look at it deeply, male sons mean more to mothers than female daughters. And it goes back to what I said earlier about women allow their daughters to be good wives, but then they become challenged when it's time for their sons to be good husbands. And that's because they wouldn't allow the son to just deal with what he needs to deal with. They are not ready to, like I said earlier, they're not ready to cut that tie. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So unfortunately, because there's that lack of enforcement of boundaries, women tend to overstep their bounds. I sound really terrible saying this because I'm a woman.
No,
But
no,
in our
listen.
culture, it's
You
the
know,
truth.
we
That's
need
just
to
how we
have this
are in our
conversation.
culture.
There's nothing to feel terrible about, man. You're saying the
Yeah,
truth.
but
And this is
that's how
not
it
like
is
you're
in our culture.
saying you're just trying to insult people. Let me tell you, man, this is the reality of a lot of people, right? People
Yeah.
are dealing with bandages, man. That's why I do the segments. You get a lot of stories, and like people should be happy, whoever you choose to be with. You get all this unnecessary complexity, whereby, because think about it. It's crazy though. You're a woman, you're with a man, you have children, you have your families, you have bills to pay, you have goals, you have dreams. Even if it's just something as simple as we're trying to replace our TV, right? And you and your husband or partner are going to spend maybe £600 to buy a brand new TV, for example, right?
Yeah.
And then Mama wa delegbe, I will need the 350 con
Mm.
láti fi ra aṣọ ẹgbẹ́ kan fún kinní kan, and then I say, irọ́. So watch your right now. I can't, mom, see you along me right now. I can give you £100 at most. I've got things to do. Because let's say he rolls off my tongue that with me and my wife, we're trying to replace our TV or something. You expect them to be reasonable, right? And then just
Mm-hmm.
because she can't get that thing right there, they go for the wife's jugular, and then
Yeah.
some of them even go as far as, let me tell you this, they become vindictive.
Mm-hmm.
They maliciously target that union that
Mm.
they won't relent until they
Until it's
break
broken.
the union.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You know
very
that?
true. Absolutely. That's very
Because
true. I mean, look at the
their
way,
fish brain logic is, if they break that union, you
and
then,
then he
as a
becomes
son, able
accessible
to
to them
focus
again.
on them and spend
Yeah.
money on them. Man.
Absolutely. Some people are like that. I mean, look at it the way it is in our culture. Like, there's almost this expectations that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law are not supposed to get along. Like, you would actually meet some women who will tell you that they prefer that their mother-in-law is dead. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because it takes away that inevitable battle that they have with the mother-in-law. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or there's almost this
Absolutely.
expected battle that's supposed to happen just because the both of you are women and you're fighting over one guy. And the reason that happens is because there is a lack of boundaries. And again, I think it's important to point out that another issue is that a lot of these women don't have power in their own households. So since their husband is their sons are the head of another household, a way to have authority is to be the mother of that son who has authority. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the way they enforce power is by tapping into. That's why they have that saying of "Sheba mami lo nile, mami lo nsanwo" and stuff like that. It allows them to be able to capitalize on that power and that authority that their son has in his household. Because if you go back to their own house, they have
Sheesh.
husbands and they can't lord it over their own husbands, so they can lord it in their own son's house, if that makes sense.
Man. Thank you, Yewande. I
So yeah,
appreciate it, man.
those are my 2 points. Thank you.
Powerful point. Thank you. Nice. That's Yewande there, man. So on that note, we'll wrap up, man. For me, whatever the case may be, man, and this is not just male specific, but of course there's been a lot of emphasis because I think the man has a serious role to make sure you nip things in the bud, and then you set the boundaries and you protect your union, man. And the same thing with females, man. It's a vicious cycle that's destroying a lot of lives. It's just the only thing you find is that person's story might be unique to them, might be slightly different from the next story you hear tomorrow. But when you put everything on your drawing board, it's pretty much similar. It's just the same cycle of problems that's really, and in the middle of all of this, before I go, you'll find a bunch of innocent children that end up being the victims of all of this mess created by these mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, those that have a blatant disregard for boundaries. Because when you maliciously, vindictively target a relationship and you end up breaking that home because of your selfish interest, remember the children. All right. You know, father goes that way, mother goes that way. It destroys the dynamics of their life, how they used to know it. And some of them may never recover. They take that bitterness, they take that, you know, you already destroyed union and lack of dad, you know, dad being present and all that stuff. It follows them into adulthood. Some of them also become dysfunctional, and on goes this toxicity. So one step at a time, man. I hope that we can do better. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the contributions, you and Day, Senior Man, and everybody that's contributed. It's your boy Frank. Glad to be back. Be sure to look through my videos. Don't forget to like the video. If you've not subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Hit the bell button so that you are notified when I'm live streaming or whatnot. You know, these new months, I'm going to be banging out a lot more content, all right, because I've been away for a while. I'm bringing a lot more content. Please, if you have any trending topics, interesting stories, send them to me, man. foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below if you're watching these on YouTube. It's your boy Phrankleen. If you're here in the UK like me or in a similar part of the world, enjoy what's left of your evening. If you're in Australia and all the rest, enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Thank you, Gail, for being a fantastic moderator. House of Coffee. Thank you to everybody. And I'll definitely, most definitely, catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man. Bye-bye now.